Okay, I have my veggies chopped up. I got my onion and my jalapeno, a little bit of celery. I don't really like celery, so I use a little bit. And one bell pepper, it's all diced up. And then I have my olive oil is warming up on the stove. Don't judge it, I mashed potatoes in there. So I have just enough to cover the bottom, and I'm gonna go ahead and add just a little bit of butter, and then I'm gonna start sauteing my onions first. I feel like a dodo brain doing this, so, you know. Anyway, I literally just get like a little bit of butter, just to give it some flavor. And I have my heat on like medium. I personally like my oil to be hot before I put anything in, so it should start sizzling. And I always start with my onion first because it's the hardest thing to get soft. It takes the longest, I guess I should say. So I'm putting in onions. And in this case, I'm going to go ahead and add my celery too, because that takes a while to get soft. I'm going to get them all in there. I go ahead and season with my onions. I like my onions to have flavor, and usually I don't have to add too many seasonings once I season. So I'm going to do some pepper. You know you got to have a lot of pepper. And I do salt. And then I do literally one little splash of cayenne on the onions. Not much. I got Tony Citrus. Secret right there. It's got red pepper too, so not a lot of that. This is my special garlic from Holland. It's just garlic. I'm just going to grate a little bit on the onions. And then of course the handy dandy garlic powder. Never too much garlic. Your onion powder. And this is one of my favorites. It's a complete seasoning. It's really, really good. It's by Badia. I use this in like literally everything. So you can see I've kind of like coated my onions. Sorry, it's hard to work these things. And then I just give it a good mix. When they start getting a little softer, not quite clear, then I'll go ahead and add the bell pepper. And then I'll add the jalapeno last. I let them all kind of soften up in stages. And after I get done with the jalapeno and let it soften up a little bit, then I add about 2 spoonsful of this in it. I get it already minced because I use the heck out of garlic, so it's easier for me. But smelling so good in here already. So I got these softened. Smells yummy. You can see them. Alright, and now I'm going with the bell pepper and the jalapeno. And the bell pepper I'm going to put in first, since that takes a minute to soften, and I'm going to give it a couple of minutes. And then I will add the jalapeno, because it doesn't take very long. And of course the vegetables will soften too as you're cooking the beans. But I try to go ahead and get them as soft as I can before adding the beans, because they don't soften as much as I would like just cooking with the beans. So therefore, I take a little time sauteing all my vegetables and getting them nice and soft. So when you eat the beans, you're not crunching into the vegetables, you know? So, all right, next step. Okay, so my bell peppers are getting soft, and I have already separated my beans. So last night when I soaked my beans, I went ahead and put some salt and pepper and garlic and onion and stuff like that. So I separated them, and I'm going to use the water that I used to soak the beans with to go with the beans when I add them. So it's getting close. So right now I'm going to go ahead and add my jalapeno. It is not a requirement. I don't even think there's many recipes for red beans that have jalapeno, but this is me. So there's a whole serrano in here. One whole serrano. Yes, the spice is real in this house. So I'm going to let that cook, and they don't take very long. So while that's cooking, I am going to go ahead and get my garlic. So that's about 1 spoon, and I use about 2 of these. I don't care if I get the liquid, whatever. Garlic is good, right? Alright. I'm going to give that a really good mix. I wish you could smell this picture because, oh my gosh, it is so good. Okay. So I'm going to let that cook down just for a few minutes, and then I'm going to add the beans, and I'll be back. Okay, I feel like I need just a little bit more olive oil, so I'm gonna add just a little bit of that. Everything is now nice and soft. My vegetables are ready to go. So now I'm gonna add the beans. So that's what it all looks like, sauteed. Looks yummy. I know I'm making a mess all over my house, but that's okay. So this is 1 pound of Camilla beans that I left in a pot all night soaking in water. Make them a little larger. And I'm gonna add them right to the onions and bell pepper and celery and all that good stuff. Recipes call for about 8 cups of water. You can use chicken stock, whatever, tickles your fancy. This is the water I soaked my beans in last night. I have 6 cups of that water left. What I do at first is I put in enough to cover the beans. And maybe just a little bit over that. So let me show you. It will soak up the water. So I'm gonna keep my handy dandy pot of bean water over here. And I may end up having to use extra water, but I kind of monitor them as I go. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna keep this all melting together. I'm gonna put it on high. I'm gonna boil it for about 10 minutes or so. And then I'm gonna bring the temperature down real low, like maybe 2 or 3. And I'm gonna put a lid over it and I'm gonna let it cook for a few hours. I'm gonna add bay leaves after it boils. So once I get it up to a boil, then I'll send you a video so you can see. I got smart, moved my camera, duh. Anyway, so it's boiling. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and add a little bit of extra seasonings. Because I've already seasoned the beans when I was soaking them and seasoned the onions, I'm not putting a whole lot, but you can always add a little salt, a little pepper. Little onion. You're gonna notice it soaks up the water really fast. Some complete seasoning. I'm gonna go ahead and add the rest of my bean water. I still may need some more water after that. I had about 6 cups, so I'd rather start with less and add as I need it because I don't want watery beans. So these are gonna cook for a little while. I'm gonna put my bay leaves in. Wherever I put those. Do you do this when you cook too? Look for everything. I got 2. They're gonna sit in there. And I'm just gonna let them sit in there for a couple of hours, keep stirring it occasionally, make sure it doesn't stick to the bottom. After that, then I will update you and I'll let you know. Have rice to make and cornbread to make. It's smelling good. I didn't bring my little tripod in, but you can see it's been cooking for like, I don't know, 15-20 minutes. It's starting to darken up in color. It was really clear at first, and they're starting to soften up a little bit. They are going to need quite a while before they're ready to go. And then, of course, I'll mash some beans and add them, but I'll take a video of that and send it to you too. But it's smelling so good. I'm probably going to need more water, so you just kind of keep an eye on it. Right now, we don't need anything. See how there's barely enough water to cover the beans. I do not like watery beans, so add little by little. Okay, so I've had them on like between low and medium for the last 30-40 minutes or so. It's starting to thicken up really good. As you can see, it's getting more brown, but it's still quite liquidy. So I turned it down to like a 2-3. I don't want to burn the beans because you don't want to do that. So make sure you stir and get everything off the bottom really good so that nothing sticks. So I stir it like every 10 or 15 minutes. I do keep a good eye on it. I'm gonna start mashing a few little by little, and what that's gonna do is it's gonna make it creamier. It's gonna help to absorb some of that water, and that's when you get the really, really good beans. That's a Louisiana secret sauce. So I literally took like one little scoop of beans and I'm gonna mash them with a fork. They don't have to be perfect. Eventually, I'm gonna be mashing a lot of beans. I end up mashing more than I keep whole because I kind of like them, when they're not completely full beans anyway. But what you want to do is you want to try to get that meaty middle out. And of course at first it's going to be harder to mash. As they cook longer, as you know, they'll be softer. Right now they're kind of soft, but you know, you can tell they're kind of hard. So they'll look like this. They're not very beautiful. And just add them back to the pot. And I'll do this a few times just to kind of get the consistency that I like. And then I'll just stir it back in. As it cooks, that like meaty middle of the red bean creates that creaminess. I don't really know how to explain it, but you'll see. And probably in the next time, I'm probably going to take the bay leaves out because I don't like too strong of bay leaf flavor. Some people do. Some people leave them in there till they're done. I don't. And the sausage is not in here. Toward the end, which I will video for you too, after my beans are nice, getting nice and creamy, then I'm going to saute up the sausage and then with just a little butter and get it a little bit brown, and then I'll add it to the pot. But I won't do that till this is almost done because andouille is pre-cooked. So if you cook it too long, then it becomes kind of rubbery and it's not very good. So I really don't put it in until I'm getting close to eating it. So it's a little fresher, you know? Okay. Okay. So my beans have been cooking for, I don't know, hour and a half-ish. And you can see that they've gotten real creamy now, to where it like sticks to the spoon. And I've mashed about 4 spoonfuls of beans, and then I also take my spoon and mush them against the side of the pot until I get the consistency I like. Like I said, I smush a lot of beans, so don't be worried if you're smushing too much. So they're about ready. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start cooking the andouille. And I usually cut it up in like rounds, and then I cut it in half with little pieces because I don't like big chunks of sausage, you know, with mine. So I'm going to finish doing that. I'm going to add a little butter to this pan back here. I've got it on medium so the pan can heat up. I don't know why anybody lets me have a knife. I have no room, but it's okay because the food's still gonna be delicious. There is no rhyme or reason to me. You should know this by now. Okay, so I'm gonna add a little butter to the pan back here. I know you can't really see too well. It's hard. Let that warm up just a little bit. Stir my beans, make sure they're not sticking. Mush a few more. I never added any more water, so I used a total of 6 cups of water. I have taken my bay leaves out as of 10 minutes ago. After my second bean smush in a cup, then I took my first bay leaf out, and after my last squish, my 4th one just now, I took the last bay leaf out. So now I'm going to just kind of like lightly brown my sausage a little bit. I did not have the pan hot enough, so it's not sizzling. Turn that up a little bit for now. Okay, so I'll have you know I'm trying to write this down for you too. I'm working on it. So I'm just going to brown my sausage, and you can see how creamy the beans are looking. And then I'll show you what the sausage looks like before I add it to the beans, and then I will work on rice. Okay, so I've browned it just a little bit. Some pieces a little bit more done than others. You know, I get distracted, ADHD, whatever. And then I just add it straight into the beans. I'm gonna put the fat and everything. I know, I got enough. I don't have enough room for everything. Okay. Oh, it looks like really good. And it will cook. It will cook in with the beans too a little bit more. So this is about the consistency that we are at now. It's all nice and sticking to the spoon. And it'll cook down a little bit more still. I'm working on jiffy corn muffins and rice. I gotta do rice, that's right. Okay. Okay, we're gonna start on the rice. So I use Mahatma, whatever you call it, long grain rice, if that matters. And in this pot, I have 2 cups of thoroughly washed rice. I rinse till it's clear, and then I have 4 1/4 cups of water in here. And this is where my rice gets particular. I flavor my rice before it even gets going. I'm working on the water boiling right now. I have the rice in the water already in. I am going to put, I can open it, and I have olive oil open over there, go figure. Anyway, I don't know, a good amount. I'd say 2 tablespoons or so. I hate this thing here. There we go. I don't know, 2 good capfuls, 2 good swigs. And then I go ahead and add a little garlic powder. Say a little, I mean a lot. And the same with onion powder. And of course, gotta have a good amount of salt. I continually stir it until it boils. And then once it boils, I turn it down to about medium heat with the lid on it until all the water evaporates, and then I turn it on low. I don't want any of my rice to burn or get stuck to the bottom. And then I also taste the water. Make sure it's salty enough. Better to add it before than after because it's hard to add it after. Okay, to be continued. Okay, so I boil the rice and I keep stirring it. I know they say don't open your rice, but I do until I'm ready for it to simmer. So I put it down to low medium. And you see the water's starting to suck up out of it. So I make sure to keep stirring the bottom because I don't want my rice to burn. I'm going to put it on super, super low. I'm going to stir it again. Give it one more good stir at the bottom. Don't know why I've got it on me, I'm sorry. See, there's not much water left in it now. And then I'm going to cover. Last time, you can see where the temperature's at. It's super, super low. And I've smudged a lot of beans. And there's about the consistency of the red beans. This is what you're going to be looking for. It doesn't come through the holes. That's when you know it's good. But I've smushed them out of beans, so. Wish you were here.
I've seen so good.
What do you give it?
$5.
That's it?
Out of 0.